All right. How we doing, guys? Let's get this started. The SPACs attack. All right. Welcome, guys, to the SPACs attack. Let's get it going. I'm here with my man, the brains of the show, Chris Katje. Y'all already know him. He's been getting shout outs from everywhere as people are really recognizing not only the information that Chris has given, but he's been on fire lately. So what's going on out there, Chris? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you, Mitch?
I'm doing great. You know, one of the things is today will only be live on Facebook and Twitter. We will go ahead and put out the recording on YouTube a little bit later so that you guys that are in with us on Twitter and Facebook, you get it first. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and let's get into some of the notable headlines of today. Really excited to get into today's show. As you guys been seeing, stocks are moving, so I really want to touch the watch list and focus more on the watch list and the sports betting stocks today, guys. So let's go ahead and get into taking us behind the headlines.
All right, guys. So headlines.
What do you see, man? What do you see?
Yeah, so we have one ripping higher today. We have symbol QS. So this is QuantumScape, former SPAC. It's up double digits today and now over $50 a share. So they announced that their battery can charge to 80% in 15 minutes. Some sites are calling this breakthrough technology. And then I also saw a post that says this may give Volkswagen, who's a investor in the company, and also trying to increase their electric vehicle share, this may give them a competitive edge in the battery market. So remember that QuantumScape's board includes ex-Tesla Chief Technology Officer J.B. Straubel, and QuantumScape is backed by both Volkswagen and Bill Gates. So now with shares over $50, this is actually ahead of DraftKings, so it could end the year as the best performing SPAC. Most of the year we've seen DraftKings as the number one up there in the $40 and $50 range, but QuantumScape has been hot out of the gate. And then with that news today on that battery technology, it is ripping higher. So this is definitely one worth watching. I know a lot of people missed out on buying that in those lower price ranges, but now with that technology coming out, you may actually see some calls on what does valuation look like? What does that mean for revenue? What does that mean for, other companies to use that technology? So this is definitely one of those SPACs that you should be watching with that battery technology that was announced today. We had some rumors yesterday, no real strong ones, not from Bloomberg or anything, and they didn't have tickers attached to them. But the rumors are around SoFi, which is an online personal finance site, and then also Coinbase, which is attached to cryptocurrency. So both those companies have been floated around now as possible SPAC targets. So this means that some of those SPACs that are focused in the fintech industry may start to run up, that are trading between that $10 and $11 level, because they could become, target rumors for either SoFi or Coinbase on this news. So I'm going to do some dive in and take a look at some of these and, look at the management teams and, let everyone know what I find, as far as fintech goes, because SoFi and Coinbase are both huge names that could cause some spikes there. We had
one of the things is we're seeing those rumors out there, Chris, and with the rumors comes to people trying to get the story. So that's what I always talk about. Story is everything, guys. So if you can keep your eye on these and kind of be ahead of the game, you want to get the fastest news, definitely stay with Benzinga Pro. But like always, guys, what you want to be looking out for is when these announcements are going to be made so you can be the first.
Yeah, absolutely. So and we're going to look into those and bring you some that we think may have, the best opportunity or the best chance to take those companies public. So you definitely want to keep tuning in. Yesterday, we had HCAC and CIIC both hit all-time highs. So HCAC bringing Canoe public and CIIC bringing Arrival public. These are both EV plays. And both of these companies were mentioned by Kramer last week. HCAC also has an upcoming merger date and a vehicle unveiling later this month. So again, it looks like that Kramer mention not only caused shares to rip higher that day after the show, but is bringing that attention and interest in the names to shoot higher this week as well. Trine, one of the ones we've talked about a lot on here, TRNE. So shares hit an all-time high yesterday. That merger vote was today, and I am seeing that it did go through. It looks like shares are down 6% now today. I'm a little surprised to see shares drop here, but it looks like people are starting to take profits. That one did run up quite fast over the last couple announced that merger date, and it looked like it was set to go through. I do like this one long term. Desktop Metal is going to be the new name. New symbol will be DM. 3D printing, industrial, really disruptive technology. And in that market, I think this one will get strong interest from analysts, from funds, and some ETFs afterwards. So, on this pullback here, if you like the long-term story, I'm surprised to see it down here today on the news of the merger vote going through. Mitch, what do you think about that chart?
So one of the things that I'll mention, and this happens often in the investment world, they call it buy the rumor and sell the news, guys. And this happens often what happens is everyone's expecting the merger vote to go through. So they load up the boat right before, a day or two before. And you see right here, a day or two before the vote, what happened, guys? We were down by this 13. The next day we're up by 14. Next day we're up by 17. Those are people trying to get ahead of the move here. And now that it's up there to the 2021s, what do? They sell into the news. And so we talk about this as buy the dip and sell into the rip. A lot of the times you're going to see this. This is just like Chris mentioned, some profit taking, and some of the people that got in at the bottom just running towards the profits. And there's nothing wrong with running towards profits. I really don't think that's a wrong thing to do. At least from what I've seen, when the mergers go through, you have this run up right before merger, then you get merger, then you get a downward move towards a support. That's what I'll be keeping an eye on. I know that you'll probably be looking for the same, Chris. It's kind of these pullbacks now to find when the investors find that price that they could really scoop underneath and get right back underneath this stock. So one of the things you want to see is some low volume days as it comes down, showing you that there's no bears loading up in this. And then you want to see the high spike on that kind of support touch to show that the bulls get right back in this. All right, guys, so let's keep going here.
That's one we'll definitely be watching later this week. And then, so NGA, that's the company bringing Lion Electric public. I want to highlight this one again today. They do have a presentation at some point today in Quebec where there could be the announcement of some new deals or kind of, what's going on with the business. So that's one we'll be looking at. The presentation looks like it'll be this afternoon. If they announce any partnership or any deals, with Canada, we could see strong price movement on that news. I do like this one long term. It is one I am in. So I'll be looking forward to that presentation today. We did see shares up yesterday on that ChargePoint partnership announcement as well, which I think is kind of a game changer, as now they're going to be able to offer their electric vans and electric buses with the charging infrastructure kind of package deal to those potential customers. And then lastly, just saw a hit right before the show started, symbol LAZR. So this is Luminar now, LiDAR play. So we have seen this one run up quite a bit since that deal went through. Citron Research is out with a tweet, not a full report, but a tweet today that said, LAZR at $14 billion is not even a casino stock. You can actually win at a casino. It is more of a sucker's game. Would much rather own industry leader VLDR at less than $4 billion market cap. Citron expects LAZR back at $20 and VLDR at $30. Real outstanding shares for LAZR. So again, we're seeing LAZR fall on the news, and we're seeing VLDR move up on the news. So there has been some comments about valuation there on how LAZR is, valued way higher than Luminar, even though Velodyne has more revenue. Just kind of as we see the timing of those deals go through. So it looks like Citron playing the valuation game here. I wouldn't be surprised to see LAZR, fall quite a bit today on that post. And VLDR has been shooting higher the past couple of days as some investors recognize the valuation trends there. So that's it for headline news today, Mitch.
One of the things is with the stock that gets a downgrade like this all the way at the top is that this happens common. I mean, how much how good is the analyst to say that it can come down here at $48? I mean, it's something normal that you'll see in the industry. They call it the top ticking analyst, and you see this often. So another one, buying into the rumors, pushing up to those levels. And this is why I always talk about know your out plan, know what reward you want. Because let's say if we got in here like at even $18 and we're getting up there towards the $46 area, to me that seems like a sufficient enough gain. And at least in my book, I would definitely I would run towards that profit. So definitely, guys, always know your out plan, know what kind of risk and reward you're looking for. And like I always say, stick to the plan, because the man with the plan usually ends up with profits. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and let's keep going here. I want to get into some of the watch list today. So let's go ahead and get into our watch list. Like always, guys, hit the like. We're live right now on Facebook and Twitter. We will go ahead and repost this on YouTube. We wanted to go ahead and let the small cap event take priority today on the YouTube. So if you want to go ahead and also see some small caps later, check it out, guys. It's live right now. There's 2 tracks. You can get a lot of information. So let's get into our watch list. Every time. Let's do it, guys. All right, so you see BFT today, guys. BFT moving big today, guys. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. All right there should be good enough, guys. There you go. You're seeing BFT here up about 7% on the day. Let's go ahead and take a look at this chart on the 15-minute, as this one's been hot lately. We talked about this one yesterday for I think 20 minutes on the show because it was so important to touch yesterday. So, Chris, go ahead and talk about BFT while I'm showing the technicals here.
Yeah, so BFT announced that deal with PaySafe yesterday. Online payments company. I'm seeing some chatter today kind of comparing PaySafe to Square, where you actually see PaySafe doing more processing in a year than Square does, but valuation is extremely lower. I highlighted yesterday how PaySafe is diversified. They're diversified across geography, across business segment, and then their key customers. So, I mean, you talk Fortnite, Roblox, Twitch, Spotify, Stadia. I mean, huge list of customers, and they are huge in the iGaming market of handling those transactions, and then they get a portion of that revenue on every transaction. So I loved this one yesterday, and it looks like it's starting to see some more action today as people kind of, get into that. Again, everyone, jumps into these EV SPAC names. This is a fintech play, but it's just as important and has just as impressive growth as some of those EV names. The difference here is they actually have all that revenue right now, whereas some of these EV companies, it's all about the story later on. So you're getting the revenue now and that huge customer base with a name like BFT and PaySafe here.
All right, guys, I got an interesting one here. I know you've mentioned this one before. So let's get into this chart here. I'm noticing it on the up chart. Let's see if anyone, you kind of guess, take a guess, Chris, what chart this is.
Oh, I was going to say, I can't see the symbol. This chart here, $12. I'm not sure. What chart is this, Mitch?
This is your chart that you mentioned before. FUV, man. FUV. Look at this thing pulling back. It looks like it's holding multiple supports here, guys. So that's what I kind of like to see now. So what I want to see, guys, is what we call the undercut and rally. So we want to go ahead and let it try to test this support down here, and then let it break down with some big volume stepping in here somewhere near this $11. That's what I'll be paying attention to. If it can come back down and test 1150s, 11, get some big volume to build right here, and then you have this trend line that it can go ahead and attack. I'll keep this one on watch. You know, this is an electric vehicle company, and Chris can tell you a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so FUV, electric vehicle, three-wheel. They have a deal signed with City of Orlando. They're getting some of those municipalities. Looks like they're also seeing some interest from college campuses and food delivery companies as they kind of, go after that market. So this company is actually presenting at the small cap conference later today, and then they will be part of a electric vehicle panel that I will be moderating tomorrow at 2:35 p.m. So if you're watching the rebroadcast of this, that EV panel is on Wednesday at 2:35 p.m. And FUV, that symbol, that will be one of the companies presenting. So again, I like this one here on that pullback. I've been watching this one for a while now. Lower market cap, and they're getting some of those deals signed. So
yeah, I mean, we'll definitely keep an eye on this one as they'll be presenting, and we'll see what we can get some good information from it. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it in the next couple of days to see if we can get that volume to really step in there. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go into some other stock here. I want to go ahead and pull up the watch list. Let's see what we got here. We got another one moving. We talked about this one, on Friday. I was looking to get in. I didn't get in, guys. Now I can tell you that. A little bit of kicking myself, So I'll definitely keep an eye on this one. This is IPOC. So let me take this off here. Put on IPOC. This is one that we mentioned, guys. We were looking at this chart. The biggest thing that I saw on this chart, and let me pull up the daily so I can show you guys. That's why I always use the longer term charts, guys, is that I saw this bottoming. And what did I see? Sideways. It went like sideways for a whole month here in October to November. Then what you got is at the end of November, you got a spike, right? And so one of the things that I wanted to see was when we got above that $10 price point, that's where we broke out from here. Can it hold sideways for multiple days? And that's exactly what you got here. What I look for is a 2-day hold, and it even gave you more. It gave you like 4 or 5 days sideways, and that's when I try to attack because I can go ahead and get a risk to return here. If we look at this a little closer, you got this push up here, couple days sideways. I look for a lot of times to be able to measure my risk and return. So I would try to attack maybe a 20 cent or 30 cent stop out here underneath 10, and then you could have gave yourself a chance for this move up there to 11. And this is how I try to attack these. As you can see, multiple supports. As this support became resistance and it broke out from that 10.05, that's what I want to kind of use to get back on. Like always, guys, know your plan, know how to take your risk, always do your own research. Like I always say, guys, at the end of the day, we're only here for informational purposes, trying to teach you guys the process that we would take to attack these SPAC stocks. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and continue on here. I know that Chris likes this one, so I'll let him talk about this one a little bit more, and then we'll also touch we're gonna talk about SRAC, but we'll also touch VGAC also with this one. I'm thinking that there's a lot of rumors in that one where it's gonna head towards, but SRAC, man,
yeah, look at that thing up again today. That thing has gone up every day. It is just on fire. This is the space play, momentous. There was a SpaceX rocket launch this past week. So Momentous is taking things to space, and they're also delivering items for other companies. So they're going to be a last mile delivery in space. I mean, think about that. Years ago, you would have laughed if you heard that there was going to be a company, being the last mile delivery company in space. Normally it's, rockets go up, we go to the moon or we go to the ISS. And now you have Momentous, delivering and putting satellites out, taking stuff to the ISS for other companies. Barron's called them the FedEx of space, and I think that's spot on. This is one I love long term. I love the space exploration and the tourist market with also Virgin Galactic, SPCE. But yeah, SRAC, I mean, it is the hot stock this week. And that line just kind of going, angled up there. I like this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this one. One of the things that I'll do is I'll try to look for a big pullback. I mean, I definitely don't want to try to get up here in the 18s and try to buy it up there. But one of the things I'll be looking for is if we can come back and we can test this 1250. You see how it held here multiple days here sideways, and it even had these wick days where it kept coming to it. That's what I'll look for, because if we can come back down through, let's say, the 1350, I'll definitely try to get somewhere near where I can risk off of that and then try to get that upswing again. This is what we try to do, guys. At the end of the day, what it's all about is using your timing of technicals combined with the story. And this one had the story to rip. We talked about it yesterday with a lot of the space industry moving up. This one got interest. And so that's one of the things to keep an eye on. All right, so let's go into another one here, VGAC. I'm seeing this one starting to move. So I think, the attention's starting to get there. I'll go ahead and I'll put the ticker up. I'll let Chris talk about it first.
Yeah, and guys, we talked about this one when it was trading below $11 in that $10 to $11 range. Again, this is a company that has not announced a deal. So you are buying into the company, pre-deal announcement. So that we like to get those in that sweet spot between 10 and 11 because it lowers your risk. There has been rumors, with electric vehicles now, being that target area. But, this one has shot higher. I don't love chasing it up here above 11 just without a deal announced. But I do think this is one based on it being Virgin Group and Richard Branson. When they do announce a deal, you're probably going to see it shoot higher. I mean, this is the same company, Virgin Galactic. They own, a bunch of other companies. So, yeah, I mean, it's one worth putting on a watch list for sure.
Yeah, guys, I mean, I'll show it to you guys on the chart. I see this often, guys. I like this one when it came out. I definitely, day one, I got a lot of volume. It traded up to 18 million shares, and then it went sideways. And this is what we see common when they first come out, the sideways move. And so one of the things that I think I really like is the dips underneath 10, close to 1080, and then holding. Once you see that hold, like you see here where it comes sideways for a couple days here, we get a couple days sideways right here. This is the days that I want to attack, when it's dipping into the 80s, dipping into the 90s. These are the days that I've been noticing have been the best risk to reward setups, because then you can sit back, relax, and wait till you get that pop above 10. And when you get that pop above 10, I always talk about what does it need to do? Close 2 days above 10. That's at least what I look for, guys. That's my pattern. And then I get what? 1 day close, 2 days, and this day it doesn't go back and go underneath 10. It holds that 10. That's when I see the investors a lot of the time load into these bad boys. And you saw it on this day. It went down towards a 1014, got loaded into, and now you start getting that move. And now it's going to be all about what kind of hype it can create. And that's why you're seeing this kind of move on up. All right, guys. So that was VGAC.U. That's it's still I think on warrants. I don't think it's even trading to the regular ticker. Is it yet, Chris?
I think it is now. VGAC.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the U up here. So another one that I'm looking at, guys, and I'll pull up the I know this one is trading already on the tickers, and also I'm watching this one, guys, just to put this one out there. And like always, I try to get a little bit early onto these. So I'll go ahead, and it's SEAR. This is a sports entertainment. So what do you know about this one, Chris?
Yeah, so I think it's SEAH, is it?
Yeah, AH, my bad.
Yep. So yeah, two that I've actually been looking at, SEAH. and then RBAC, Redbird. So these are both in the sports SPAC industry. They both are targeting, sports ownership, sports media, something in that market. I mean, you look at that chart on SEAH, it's below $10 right now. Talk about risk reward before the deal gets announced. And then RBAC looks like it's around $10.50. Again, guys, that $10 to $11 sweet spot before these deals are announced. SEAH trading below $10 provides a great opportunity, where you can, buy shares in this before the deal's announced, and you have limited downside here at this level. So I'm surprised because we're seeing a lot of these $10 ones, trade higher, but here we found one that's below $10.
All right, guys, I'm going to let you know this right now, guys. You seen this sideways move right here? So one of the things, let me take off the ticker name so you can see the chart here a little. So one of the things is we got a boost, but every time it boosts, what happened, right? It came back below the $10 price point. I want you guys to see that. So then we got this big volume day, right? What happens, right? So it gets to $10. Then the next day it pushes above $10. But what happens after that? It goes right back underneath $10. And this is why I talk about the 2-day closing over that $10 price point. Now that I saw this volume pop, I wanted to come back and test around here, maybe this 985, go sideways for 2 or 3 days in this 990s. And then if I see a nice load up through that $10 price point, that's when I'll go ahead and I'll get interested in this one. I think I'm going to be taking a position. I'll let you guys know if I do get into this one. But like always, guys, do your own research. Look at who's on the board on this one. Try to measure your own risk. And then like always, have your out plan. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get to the major stock of the day. I know Chris wanted to talk here and get into the middle part of our segment, a lot about sports betting and iGambling. So I'll let Chris take over here.
Yeah, so guys, I know there's not a ton of people watching live right now. We are going to be on replay on YouTube, but we wanted to bring you a pick today and some research into one of the names. We were actually asked about this one in chat recently as well. So DMYD is the ticker. So this is the second SPAC from DMY Technology. So that company also is taking Rush Street Interactive public with ticker DMYT, a sports betting company. So DMYD is bringing Genius Sports public at an enterprise value of $1.5 billion. So Genius Sports is the thing behind the thing, providing sports data to sports betting companies. Genius Sports acquires data from sports events and then supplies it, which includes several exclusive rights deals. So Genius Sports provides data for 240,000 events a year, including as the official provider for 170,000 events. They have deals with the NBA, NCAA, FIFA, the English Premier League, PGA, and NASCAR. They are the #1 sports data rights owner with a 40% market share. Customers for Genius Sports include DraftKings, FanDuel, William Hill, Sky Bet, Bet365, Betfair, Paddy Power, Bet America, Twin Spires, Caesars, and BetMGM. Genius Sports is one of 2 players in the industry that are full service providers of this scale, with Sportradar being the other. Revenue is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 29%. And they have 60% recurring revenue. Their top 10 customers represent 30% of revenue. They have a clear path to profitability. So sports represent 11% of revenue. Media is 15%. And then that data and streaming portion of their business is 74% of revenue. Sports right acquisition costs represent 27% of their total cost. So the sports betting market is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 31% in the US from 2020 to 2025. So of the 19 states, Genius is in 10. They've submitted applications for 2 and have pre-application process started for the remaining 7 states. This deal is being done at 8 times 2021 estimated revenue of $190 million. They will grow by pursuing additional rights and making strategic acquisitions. So also keep in mind, guys, so Sport Radar, the other company that is the pure play in this, was valued at over $2.8 billion in 2018, and they've seen their valuation rise, and the company has also been thrown in the ring of potential IPO or a SPAC. Shareholders of DMYD will own 17% of the company when the deal is complete. So again, going public at a $1.5 billion valuation, they're the number one in their industry with 40% market share. Their competitor was valued at $2.8 billion in 2018 and has seen that valuation rise. So really, you have valuation here, you have the thing behind the thing, you have the growth of sports betting. I mean, I think this is a winning stock going forward. And I'm surprised it is trading at these levels and not getting the attention as some of the sports betting counterparts. I think just because it's the behind the scenes thing behind the thing, instead of the, sports betting rights in different states, the iGaming and stuff, they're providing the data to these companies though. So if you think sports betting is going to grow, those sports betting providers need the data from Genius Sports. Symbol DMYD is the SPAC bringing that company public. Mitch, what can you tell us about that chart, and what are your thoughts kind of on this thing behind the thing in sports betting?
Yeah, so one thing you're definitely seeing is this one hasn't really wanted to look back. I mean, it did what I always talk about. You notice how I mentioned 980 on the before stock? Look how this one opened up. What it did was just open down there. And it tested 983s, 981s, 980, 981, and then went above $10. There's a reason why, guys. Pay attention to that, guys. It's a pattern there. Pattern speak, guys. And so there's multiple days where it's touching that support and just going sideways. That's what you try to attack, And the people that got in this early and got in at that 980, boom. You saw this one pop above 10, and what does it need to do? It needs to hold sideways, sideways. That's what you want to see. Sideways is always good at the first pop, guys, because that's consolidation. That means that the bulls are not in control, the bears are not hitting it, and so what ends up happening is someone's going to take the wheel, and you need to look for that swing. And you got that swing right here, guys. It swung up here towards the 1070, pulled back, held the support, guys, held this support here, and then started moving on up. I'll look for a pullback, and guess what happens? Look, you get that push up here towards 1140. The next 2 days, it pulls back right to this high, 1060 right here. Look at the low on this. The low on this day right here, 1060. And this is why it's so important to know your levels, guys. You'll get another opportunity if you know your levels. All right, guys, so that's pretty much what I want to talk about this one. One thing that I will mention in this one, like Chris mentioned, the sports betting market is expected to grow and will continue growing. And it's going to go state by state. And as these states go, what do you do as a business if you want to get into this industry but have no expertise? You look for companies like this. You look for companies that have some expertise in their data, and they can go ahead and help you move forward in bringing out a product or a service. It's not only the names mentioned. I mean, just look at this, guys. Look at this list: DraftKings, FanDuel, William Hill, Sky Bets, Betfair, Patty. Everyone you can pretty much think of. I mean, I've been using. I can be honest. I've been using a lot of BetMGM. Personally, I think it's my favorite user-friendly platform. I think it's one that's being forgotten. So we have to keep an eye on that one too, and just keep an eye on all these, because as you can tell, I mean, when it's going to grow 31%. This is going to change the story in a lot of stocks here. There's going to be new ones coming out even. So keep your eye out. Like Chris always talks about, know what these stories are about, and Chris will get you there, man. If you ask him, he'll definitely do the research. Like, I know we have one that we did a little bit of research on. Chris, do you want to go ahead and bring that one up? Do we got an answer from my man here?
I have not gotten to, is this HCCH you're talking about?
Yeah, man. I'll at least pull it
pull
up.
that chart. So
Yeah,
this is a hydrogen play. I like the story from what I've briefly seen. This one is over $20 though already and has ran up, but it looks like that deal is going through. So yeah, I see 24. I like the industry that they're going in. So yeah, I'll do some more digging and more research into this one because I think the story could be important. But yeah, look at that chart.
Yeah. And how did this one kind of move here? It had announcements kind of over here in this area where you're seeing this kind of push, and then came back down, held support, sideways action at support. Then you got finally a volume pop kind of day. Look for those supports, guys. Look for those supports. So one of the things is I would mention about this one, be careful as we're getting towards levels where a lot of the times you get this kind of swing back down. And so always know your out plan, always know your risk. I know someone really wanted to talk about this, Doc, so that's why I'm bringing it up here, guys. We see your comments. So if you guys want to see a SPAC or anything, an IPO being touched, put it in our comments below, and we'll definitely see it after. I appreciate you guys staying with us. We're live right now on Twitter, live on Facebook. We're going to repost this up on YouTube. Tell your friends, this is the best SPAC show out there. So let's keep it going. Let's build a nice family and the value in the chat to help each other out. All right, Chris, I'll go ahead and let you say goodbye and we'll get on out of here.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in if you joined us live. Otherwise, if you're watching the YouTube replay, be sure to tune in 11 a.m. Eastern time, Mondays through Friday. So again, tomorrow our show will only be on Facebook and Twitter live, and then that rebroadcast on YouTube. But we'll be back live on YouTube Thursday and Friday, and we do have some CEO guests coming later this week and next week. So stay tuned for that, because you always know we bring some of these CEOs of these companies and you get huge insight into the growth plans. So join us back for SPACs Attack.